Good morning. I wanted to talk to you about Mondays. And you know how you've got this amazing plan for Monday and you get up and you're like, I'm going to get so much done today. And you have a plan of all the tasks, all those things you've been putting off, all those great needle moving things in your business. And then Monday happens and there is just interruption after fire, after customer problem, after employee calling in sick, and all of your carefully crafted plans go out the window. And you get to the end of Monday going, oh dear God, I have worked so hard today. I have done so much. I have raced from thing to thing and helped every single person in my business and got nothing done. Absolutely nothing done. There is nothing worse than getting to the end of a really busy workday and going, what did I do today? What did I do today? And that is infuriating. And often when I talk to women, they talk about this business fires, these interruptions, these unexpected things that pop up. And it was a bit of a theme again today inside my clients, and they were talking about dealing with, sick days. That means that rosters need to be juggled, or, a child that's at home sick for one of their team members, which means that they need to shift a client onto their books and not on their team's books. Like, that's challenging, right? Because when you've got a plan for your day and their days don't play out the way you expected them, the load ends up on you. And so it feels like these unexpected fires are constantly derailing your progress because they're just unexpected, right? Because you don't know when they're going to happen or why they're going to happen or how they're going to happen, and yet they happen. So I get it. I totally understand it. And it's not your planning. Well, it kind of is your planning, but it's not your planning. Don't stop planning. Don't stop rostering team members on. Don't stop doing all that stuff. Just stop doing it like the week's going to be perfect. I've been in business for I keep saying nearly 20 years, but I think I might actually be saying it's 20 years now. And I have never had a perfect week. I have never had a week that happened where somebody wasn't sick or needed an unexpected day off or was late. I have never had a week where we haven't had someone somewhere in our businesses where there was a death in the family, or they had a sick child, or they forgot about a dental appointment they're supposed to go to, or the car didn't start this morning. I've never had a perfect week where a customer or a client or a guest on the boat hasn't had something go wrong, and so we've had to shift and change and adapt. I have never had one. I can tell you that 100% of my weeks have had something crop up in them, either business related or life related for either me or one of my team members, that we weren't planned for. And yet that tells me that it's not a surprise. If 100% of my weeks are disrupted, then I should probably plan for 100% of my weeks to be disrupted. We have some stats around people being sick and off work. Like, if you look at your team, pre-2020, we used to say about 10% of your employees will be off each and every week. So if you have 10 employees, one of them's going to be away every day. Now it's 20%, too, because we've got more mindful of sending sick kids to school with coughs and colds. We've got more mindful of how we're showing up in the workplace. Not a bad thing. It's just reality. So don't do your rosters like it's going to be 100% right. Plan your rosters like 20%. That means if you have 10 employees, 2 of them aren't showing up every day. Plan for that. Now then, if they all come, you've still got you can keep your contingency plan in the bag. You don't have to throw it out. You can use it. You could also plan into your week for those interruptions and those fires, because you know they're going to happen. So it's not that the interruptions and fires stop you from getting your work done. It's that you don't put time in for them. And so what happens is, instead of saying, well, I'm going to have 3 hours of interruptions and 4 hours of fighting these unexpected fires in my calendar, you plan your week like it's going to go perfectly. You plan your week like it's going to be super easy for you to show up into everything that you planned. And so you put in like 40 hours worth of work, let's say, and then you end up working more than that because you have to deal with the interruptions and fires. And so the work that you planned to get done yesterday on Monday, you're going to put that into tonight in the evening or on the weekend. After the kids are in bed, you're going to get that laptop out and you're going to start working. You're going to get your phone out and you're going to start working. So the fires aren't the problem. It's the fact that you and I as business owners forget to put them in our calendars like they are actually going to happen, because they will. That we don't know when and we don't know what they'll be. We just know they will happen. And if you remember that when you're planning your week, like what you're going to get done as a business owner, if you remember that when you're rostering your team in, then things are going to go great. Because all of a sudden you've got the spaciousness to deal with those things coming up. So when someone brings you this urgent customer fire that you have to deal with, you're not going to freak out. You'll be like, I've got time. I put time on my calendar. When a team member calls up sick, you're going to be like, it's okay. I've got time. I have a plan B for this. Whether that be you've got a way that the team tap each other out and support each other when they're sick, because they're all going to be sick at some point. No one's immune from everything. So you have a plan and your team are all on board with the plan. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. I can tap in today. Knowing that at some point they will need to be tapped in for because they might get sick or their kids might get sick. That's totally cool. So you got a plan B in place. And if you do that, here's this magic thing that happens. When you start planning for things not to go to plan, less of them happen. Because you have spaciousness to deal with things as they come up and deal with them properly. So instead of just putting the fire out, you're like, why did that happen? And how do I fix that? Because you've got time to do it, less fires happen long term. Cool, huh? So keep planning. You're doing a great job. You just need to plan for things to go wrong too. Because in my experience, 100% of the time, something will crop up that you didn't know about, because life's uncertain, right? Business is uncertain, and that's totally okay. We just want to make sure that it doesn't feel uncertain for you.